Joining us now on the Picks for Pace podcast, we've got Chicago's very own local kid, Benedictine University's very own defensive back, Jalaan Owens, is in the house. Fun fact, he's actually a best friend of two of my high school classmates and former teammates as well. But Jalaan, what's going on, man? We're excited because you're our first official prospect that we're having on the show this year. So congrats on that. Always a cool distinction. But how you doing today, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing amazing. Just finished the day training and everything. Thanks for honestly having me on the show. It's an honor to be on here.
Absolutely. We love our DBs, especially, and I'm sure we love our defensive backs here in Chicago. But, we got to get started with the kind of first question here. Take us through your time at Benedictine. I mean, after graduating from Naperville Central, why do you think BU was such a great fit? And then, compared to going away from football, why do you feel what were the benefits of staying local compared to going away?
So that's the crazy part. I didn't have the most prolific high school career. I had, as many people in the Illinois area know, I had Manuel Rugamba. That's my brother right there. I had him in front of me, so kind of deterred me at first playing football in college because I always was behind him. But with people that I had around me, my support system, people at Acceleration in Naperville and Manny, his family, my family, they pushed me to continue football. I actually went to Baldwin-Wallace University in Berea, Ohio at first. And my freshman year, I tore my ACL. My mom had my little sister right before I went to college. So then after the injury and having a little sister, I was like, okay, I want to be a big brother in my little sister's life, see her first moments. So I went into the transfer portal and I decided just to stay local. People at Acceleration, they were considering actually going and coaching at Benedictine. JR, Nicholas, he's at College of DuPage, head coach now. He really pushed me to it, and so did his little brother, Jeremy. So then took my visit at Benedictine. Coach McCaslin had just got hired from University of Buffalo. So I was like, okay, it's a small school with a Division I coach coming in. We were supposed to be moving to Division II. The defensive back coach was Coach Dominique Battle. He played at University of Cincinnati. He was actually going to be a first-round pick before he got hurt repeatedly at Cincinnati. And then Charles Love, who's now a scout for the Bears, was our receiver coach. So I sat down with those three. Coach Battle and Coach Love shot me straight right away, which is really rare to find in the recruiting process of a coach just telling you straight up, look, you can come in. You might play, you may not. We're going to decide it during camp how you perform. So being shot straight by a coach was honestly the most important thing to me because I'm a straight shooter. I don't want to mince my words. I'm not going to let anything be up in the air. I'm clear, cutthroat, black and white. So those coaches just shot me straight. They looked at my film look, we want you to diagnose our defense real quick for me. So I sat down with Coach Battle, went through the defense with him the first day on my official visit. And then he realized my IQ for football was high. And then just decided right then and there that was a family for me. Went there, had amazing coaches. Coach McCaslin left. Coach Battle ended up leaving as well. Then we got Coach Schrader. And, man, those guys, the coaches at that university, they're not coaches to me, truthfully. They're father figures. They took me in and just helped me through a lot of different things on the field and off the field. So Benedictine, truthfully, was an amazing situation because it was close to home. My mom and my little sister, my stepfather, and my brother could all come watch my games. I was still able to train at Acceleration every day that I wanted to go in. Coach Nicola, Coach Mike, and Coach JR were there. And then Coach Goff, that man is a DB guru out in Chicago. So having all those people local to me, knowing I can get work 24/7, people that support me. And then Benedictine has an amazing business program. So it was just the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, kind of continuing on your experience at Benedictine. And you talked about, the supporting staff you had there with the coaching staff and just being local at home. How has your time at Benedictine continued to shape you as a player, both on the field as well as off the field as well?
It's an everyday process because they taught me then, and as well as at Naperville Central, we always stress on this, the little things that matter. So Coach Schrader just let me know, look, you're not going to be perfect. You're a human being. You're going to mess up. But the thing is, you have to make sure you fix those mistakes so it's not a repeated issue. So they just really welcomed me. They let me learn because they understood when I transferred, I was 19, 20 years old. So they realized I was a young man trying to figure out the world, trying to be on my own. So they didn't really force me. They more so guided me and just assisted me as I continued to grow as a person and as a player. And then just the stuff that they've done, it's just crazy looking back that I wasn't even going to continue playing football. It's a passion of mine. I was thinking about just coaching, being a GA, being a grad, like just a student coach. But they taught me, like, they showed me right away, like, you have that dog mentality. You have what it takes to make it to the next level. Now you just need to show the people what you can do. So they just spent extra time working with me. They seen that I'd be the first one in the locker room, last person to leave, last one out of the weight room too. So we just really gravitated towards each other. And then,
So, yeah, I'm genuinely curious to know because I feel like, you have to have a certain mindset and kind of swagger to your game and personality to be able to play defensive back. I mean, describe your overall play, your overall style of play as a defensive back. And then, as a follow-up to that first one, is there anyone in the NFL, a defensive back that you may model your game after or that you've looked up to?
yeah. So first part of it, my mentality on the field is, like you said, you got to have the swagger. As a DB, you got to know that you're the best because you're going up against the best receivers. You have to do what they're doing. They're running at you straight forward. You have to be able to do exactly what they're doing backwards and react on what they're doing because they know what's going on. You're just reacting. So you just have to have that mentality like, look, I'm the best person out here. You line up across from me, you're going to have a miserable day. And my big thing is that I don't care if you catch the ball, I'm going to hit you every single time because I'm going to let you know I'm here. I'm not a small, like my weight might not be the biggest, but I play like I'm 225 pounds. I'm going to come in, hit you as hard as I can. I'm going to get that ball out. And then it's honestly just a dog mentality. Like you have to feel like you have to personally believe that you're the best person on that field. Because if you don't, the offense is going to like sense it like shark, just like blood in the water. Once they've had that little sense that you're not the best, that you have any doubt, they're going to attack you and they're going to take a straight advantage of you. So you just have to really believe in yourself and just have that swagger that you're the best on the field. And then as far as my game, it's a variety of people. I don't just look at one person. I'm a person that believes in mental reps. You have to be able to watch someone do something and get a lot of your reps from that. So with my play, it's a combination. Like I said, Manny was ahead of me my senior year. It's my best friend. He worked with me. Literally the first day I moved to Naperville, took me straight to the field. So Manny's definitely one of the people. Greg Newsome, another Chicago kid. He's a first-round pick. Worked with him a good amount. So he's one. I grew up a Seahawks fan. So all of the Legion of Boom, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Brandon Browner, and then Buda Baker is honestly one that's really stood out to me lately because as a DB, a lot of people are afraid to hit. Watching Buda Baker, he's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but he's going to come in and hit you every single time full speed. And you just got to put your body on the line because you got to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that, the game is, as it trends more and more towards a passing game, certainly a lot of people can forget about DBs and their hitting ability, but at the end of the day, football is still a sport about collision. It's still a collision sport. So still having that physical mindset. It's certainly something that can carry over, whether you're a defensive back, whether you're a linebacker, whether you're a defensive lineman. Having that mentality is certainly something important. But in terms of, when you look at transitioning now to the NFL, I know you talked about your injury when you were playing in Ohio and how that kind of got you set on your path towards Benedictine or got you towards that, where you're at right now. What challenges have you had to overcome in order to get to where you are at today? And, as Benedictine being a small college like it is, transitioning all the way up to the NFL now, making that jump. What do you anticipate being a challenge moving forward for you as you make that transition to the pros?
Truthfully, like really thinking about it, I'm gonna start with that last part, the challenge, because that's what everyone's always saying. Like, I've talked to a good amount of agents before I finally officially signed with Whitney Holzman. She's an amazing agent. She's new on the market, wonderful woman. She really cares about us. It was just talking to different agents. They looked at my film. They looked at my stats. Like, why didn't you transfer out after your junior year? It was just, anybody can go from Division I to the NFL. That's simple. We see it all the time. But how many people come from a Division III? And not just come from a Division III, but end up starting in the NFL. The last person that I know that did it was Michael Joseph, another Chicago kid. He went to Dubuque. He's on the Bears now. He didn't start in high school. It was a similar story. So biggest challenge is just showing people that the size of your school doesn't matter. It's all about your work ethic. It doesn't matter if you go against Division I SEC guys, or if you go against Division III, or if you go to NAIA or JUCO. If you have that dedication, that work ethic, and you truthfully believe you're the best, and you invest in yourself, somebody's going to end up investing in you. So that's truly the biggest challenge, is showing someone that, like, look, I might be a small school kid, but I could play with the best of the best. And then as well as just showing people that I had the speed to compete with anyone. Like, truly, I'm looking forward to getting to the league. I want to cover Tyreek Hill. That's the first person I want to cover. Like, I know he's fast. Everyone talks about his speed, but I want to just show people, like, I have what it takes to not only run with him, but I truthfully believe, like, I can cover him. Same with Devontae Adams. Everyone knows he's quick, shifty person off the line. I want to go up against those guys. Like, those are the people I look forward to. So to me, it's not challenges, it's just objectives. Like, I just want to check those boxes off. And then can you repeat the first part of the question? My bad.
Yeah, just, I mean, some of the challenge, again, we talked about, overcoming the injury you had earlier in your college career. Has there been anything else in your college career, or even before that it's kind of been, not something that, I guess, held you back or anything, but just something that kind of had to overcome to get to where you're at today?
There's three that come to my mind. So the first one was, I played the entire 2019 season with a torn right labrum in my shoulder. My coaches just told me straight, like, if you're hurt, you can play. If you're injured, you're done. And you're not any good to a team if you're in a cold tub, if you're just in the tub. So really just pushing through that, it honestly showed me that I could push through anything. It doesn't matter what the injury is, what's going on. Like, I can get it through. That's something my mom taught me as a kid. So that was definitely one thing. I was very proud of myself for that, because junior year, first team all conference, I think I was top 3 in tackles on the defense. So that was very, very proud of myself, and it was good adversity because it challenged me, pushed me. Second one was, I ended up breaking my foot that same season, the last game of the season. And they told me it was a sprained ankle, so I went back in, played the game, finished with, I think, like 4 or 5 tackles, only allowed 1 or 2 catches. And then I ran 3 track meets with that broken foot. And during the track meets, I ran sub 51 in my 4x4 relay with the broken foot, and then went to the junior day, performed on the junior day with the broken foot. So those definitely were, like, injuries, but, like, to me, it was just momentum, because I knew if I could do that with the broken foot fully healthy, I'm going to be a demon. And then the biggest one, though, was freshman year of high school. Exit interview after the season down in Benville High School in Arkansas. Coach Hutchinson, my freshman head coach, looked me in my eyes and said, "Jalaan, you will never see the field on a Friday night." And when he said that to me, it was just like, most people would be a dagger. To me, it was like, okay, I respect you saying that. Now I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's something I've used every day. Like, it constantly goes through my mind when I'm training. Out here training at MJP with phenomenal athletes. Damian Pierce is out there, Jack Jones, Chase Lucas, Wanye Thomas from Georgia Tech. So just being with those guys, it's like, okay, my coach doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to show him. Like, the first thing I'm going to do when I get to the league is go back to Benville and tell him, "Coach, thank you for telling me those words, because those really, really pushed me to be a completely different person."
That's some really awesome stuff. I feel like, everyone's kind of had that moment in life where they tend to have someone that tells them, well, you can't really do this. And then, it's just extra and added motivation for you to go out and to just prove them wrong. But, I want to kind of ask you, another one here in terms of, what's your daily routine like? I mean, who are you training with right now? And then, what's something specific that you hope to kind of accomplish over the next couple months, because the draft is in April?
So my daily routine is different than any prospect in any draft class will ever go through. I'm training at Michael Johnson Performance up in McKinney, Texas. And the reason why I say it's different is because a lot of people train there. And a lot of people stay in the area of Dallas. I'm actually currently in Austin, Texas, which is 3.5 hours away. So my morning starts at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. I wake up, leave my house by 5 o'clock, 5:20 at the latest, drive 3.5 hours up to training. Training starts about 9:15, 9:30. And then it goes to about 12:30, I want to say. And then that's only 3 hours of training. I drive 3.5 hours. I have to make a 3.5 hour drive back. So my motto is, okay, if I'm going to drive this far, I'm going to get my work. So I'll put in a good 4 to 5 hours of additional work, just on my own, just getting sled marches, ice tub, hot tub, doing contrabass, stretching, doing Normatec, then get back on the field, do a little bit of field work, get some sled pushes in, wrap up my day about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then drive 3.5 hours back home, come back to my girlfriend's place, eat some really delicious food. Her mom, they're a Mexican family, so always delicious food out here. And then play with my little puppy. I'm a little 7-month-old puppy that we got. And then go to bed about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then wake back up at 4 o'clock and do it all again.
It sounds like a very busy routine, but I mean, no other way you'd have it though. I would be sure, because I've heard it from ever since I was playing when I was young. From from my early days, from my coaches saying, when you get to this level, especially now, when you're transitioning to the pros, your body is basically that's your career right there. So taking care of that and trying to push yourself any way possible, you'd hope that would certainly pay dividends down the line. And I think that's certainly really interesting. You mentioned that drive, because I've had jobs before where I've had to drive not 3 hours, but jobs where I've had to drive quite a way, and it's almost, you get like a little bit of a satisfaction from it at the end. Yeah. It's like, I went this far to do it. I'm going to put everything I want or everything I can into this to make it pay off for myself.
Definitely, especially like we were talking about, come from a small school. There's obviously training facilities in Austin I can go to, but in my mind, if you want to be the best, you have to train the best. And I make that sacrifice to make that 3.5 hour drive, because the people at NJP, they're not just trainers. You don't just boom, 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 drill, you're done. They break down every little detail, because it's the little details that matter. Because if you watch the combine, pro days, all athletes typically make the same mistake. And it's because their training is just ran through. MJP athletes, it's very crisp. It's very clean, because we focus on the little details. And then the biggest thing is that I talk to a lot of guys there. They all know my story that I drive 3.5 hours. They'll be like, yo, if I was you, I would come 2 days a week. You're crazy, because it's 5 days a week in a row I do. So I'm missing time with my girlfriend, my puppy. I don't get to go see my family down in Florida and Chicago. But it's because we all have talent. That's what's got us here. But if you look, a lot of these guys that come from Division I schools, the NFL stands for not for long, because they're so complacent. I'm used to being the man. I don't even put in work. So my mind says, talent got us here. Hard work is what's going to keep us there. And not everyone has that work ethic. So that's just my biggest thing, is just showing people that with me, I'm not just a football player. I'm a hardworking human being that's going to make a difference in your organization and in the community.
Yeah, certainly hard work is the separator, especially when you get to this level where it's the elite of the elite, the athletes going at it every single day. And physical gifts can only give, it's like that starting point. Physical gifts give you that starting point, but what you do with those physical gifts is certainly something where that's what separates you from the rest. And you talk about, talking to some of the guys about the NFL and some NFL guys, in terms of the NFL, I know we're early in the process here in terms of the draft process, but have you been in any contact at all during your experience, whether you're at Benedictine or in this offseason while you've been training? Have you had any contact with any NFL teams? And if so, what are some of the things that you talk about with them?
So during my junior year, I had a junior pro day with the Bears, Vikings, Packers. They're just a typical pro day, just talked to them, showed the 40, ran it with the broken foot. I didn't tell them that because truthfully to me, it's an excuse. Like, oh, I have a broken foot. That's why my time's this way. Like it's an excuse. I'd rather them think that time is what it is. So when I get to my actual pro day this year, they see the exact changes that I've made. They see the time difference. They see the work ethic that I put in. Like I was saying earlier, Coach Love, Charles Love, he's a Bear Scout. Talked to him a couple times. A little bit harder now that he's in the Scouts and he has his own family, but definitely talked to him. He's a very big supporter. He's really pushed me as not just an athlete, but a human being to be a better person, be a better leader, to change my mental state, because the biggest thing that he's hit on with me is that, like we said, everyone's talented when you get to the NFL, but what separates you in the NFL is your mental. To me, the NFL is 10% physical, 90% mental. Do you know what each play is going to be? When you're studying film, is it going to be, are you just going to watch the play? Are you just going to watch your person? Are you going to watch what the offensive coordinator is doing? Are you going to know what he likes to call on first down, second down, third down, second and short, second long, third and short? Are you going to be able to detect who his go-to person is on each down? As well as something I've learned from some of the guys, Wanya, is how long is a typical offensive play? Because if it's typically 5 seconds and you're covering for, say, 6 seconds, you know that quarterback's scrambling. So you know you need to latch on to that receiver. So it's just those different things I've talked with them, as well as just truthfully like the type of person you are, because that's really what scouts care about. You have film, yeah, but you can tell what type of athlete you're getting, but what type of person you're getting is what a lot of them really care about. And then thankfully, the Tennessee Titans linebacker coach, Ryan Crow, was my offensive coordinator my first year at Bon Wallace. So had a couple of chats with him as well.
All right, so it seems like, you're kind of ahead of the curve in terms of connections and, just continuing to talk to people, which honestly, I feel like always benefits anyone who's really trying to continue making a name for themselves. But, I'm sure you keep up with just what's going on in the NFL, and the Bears are obviously going to be looking for secondary help this offseason. So what should a passionate fan base like Chicago that just has always been defense first know about Jalaan Owens?
What they should know about me is if I put on that navy blue and that orange, that you're going to get someone that's going to go out, just lay their body on the line each and every play, that's going to be there. Just every play, it's a new play. What happened in the past play doesn't matter. Obviously, you want to win that previous play. That's my biggest goal, but we all know football, if you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and a receiver like Devontae Adams, they're going to make a play. It's impossible to stop them 24 the entire game. But with me, I'm going to win more than I get. Like Marshawn Lynch said, I'm going to get more than I got. That's the biggest thing, is just I'm going to make sure that I win the entire matchup, and that it doesn't matter who we go against. I'm going to take every opponent like it's a Super Bowl, because that fan base, they've gone through a lot. Living in Chicago for a while, see what they go through, seeing the crush on their face. And it's just, I want to bring that joy, that energy back to the city, because it's such a gorgeous city, such an amazing city, and it deserves a championship. The Bulls are doing good. The Cubs brought back a championship a couple years ago. The White Sox were looking pretty hot. Now it's time for the Bears to take over. And adding me, you're going to get the all-around person. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm not a one-position person. I'm versatile. If you need me at corner, I'll go corner. If you need me at nickel, I'll go nickel. If you need me at free safety, strong safety, put me in the box, put me at D-line, put me at D-end. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that the Bears win. as well. Shoot, put me on special teams. I was working on long snap today after training. I was in there long snapping with some of the guys doing long snap. I want to run down the field and just make every single play that I can.
Yeah, certainly growing up or being around the Chicago area, you probably know, like all of us, the history of the Bears, and it has been a little bit. I think for all Bears fans, a little bit tough, especially with you mentioned him a couple times, but that guy in Green Bay just seems to, for whatever reason, just seems to have our number for whatever reason. But I think Bears fans love to hear that you have that passion for the city and that mentality of just bringing it every single day. And one other thing I found interesting that you said, and this is the last question I have for you, Jalaan, is you mentioned versatility and being willing to play whatever position that you need to help the team. Is there a particular position that you're training for when transitioning for the NFL, or are you looking at whether it be cornerback or going inside, or maybe even a shift to safety? Is that something to where you're looking to train for any one of those positions in particular?
Truth, I've played corner the last 3 years at Benedictine. So sometimes I have corner pretty down as far as like if it's a zone scheme, but my biggest thing is working on more man, because Coach Schrader, we were a heavy zone team. So working on man at corner. And then I've truthfully been begging that y'all can ask him. I've been begging Coach Schrader since my junior year to move me to safety. So now that I get the opportunity to make that jump to the next league, to the next level, my big thing is focusing on free safety and strong safety as well, making sure that I have the reads. I'm able to come down, fill the hole, as well as go hash to hash, as well as from the hash all the way to the boundary. Because the biggest thing that like you were saying earlier, who's someone I would compare myself to? I want to be like a Jordan Poyer from the Bills, being able to go from the far hash all the way to the numbers to make a play. That's something my coaches have always been able to praise me for, and that's something I'm really looking forward to show and train for.
Yeah, it certainly, I feel like just getting a quick vibe from you, and I kind of picked up on this just early in our interview, is that you're the type of person where it's just like, just put me wherever, as long as I'm on the field, because, I'm going to make some magic happen. But before we get you out of here, where can people follow you on social media, man?
Definitely. My Instagram is _YN solo. It's a little family thing. My cousin started. His name's this is a YN community, because the biggest thing we want to appreciate youth within the Black community. So _YN solo. Twitter's Jalaan _Owens. So JALAAN _OWENS. And those are the 2 big social media platforms I'm on right now. And they can reach me at through my agent, Whitney Holtzman, at socialvictories.com.
All right, guys. So, if you're listening, you guys have to go give Jalaan an interview. Listen, this was fun. Hopefully we can do it again sometime soon. You have my number now. I'm sure Andrew's going to follow you too. You guys will follow each other. So you're welcome back on the show at any time. Thanks so much for making this happen. And yeah, have a great night. Good luck on that drive to Dallas tomorrow, and keep us updated on how things are going. Keep in touch, man. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I definitely want to be in touch. Thank you for giving my first opportunity to talk to people. So it really means a lot. Thank you guys.